This is the new 10th generation Honda Civic hatchback, and gone is the plump body shape of old in place of this much leaner silhouette. But as you can see, it's still as polarizing as ever. I mean, Honda have really gone full metal jacket with this one. It's like they've said to the designers, let me see your war face. And they've come up with this. I mean, look at it. It's absolutely mental. And having a bit of vibrant character in the hatchback segment certainly goes a long way. I mean, the VW Golf, Ford Focus, Mazda 3, all good looking cars, but neither of them are quite as overt or divisive as this. And with its new looks comes new dimensions as well. It's now longer, it's lower, it's wider, and it's lighter. And this all results in a lowered centre of gravity by 34mm. And according to Honda, that makes it better to drive. But are they just all talk? As well as the new Civic being lower and lighter, its torsional rigidity is also up by 52%, and all these factors should in theory make it more engaging to drive. And they do. I mean, it'll definitely be a welcome change for Civic fans because it's always just been a bit vanilla to drive, especially when compared to the likes of the Ford Focus and Mazda 3. The main difference is just how well it corners, because it just, I don't know, it just feels more up for it, like it doesn't mind being chucked about. And of course, the extra rigidity does help here, but also its new multi-link rear suspension just means that each wheel can now move independently and contort to the road. And this is, of course, a benefit when it comes to comfort as well, because you can go across an uneven road and it no longer shudders due to an imbalance, which was certainly a problem with the last model. Unfortunately, the steering does still lack a bit of feel, and it doesn't quite communicate at all times what the front wheels are doing. It is a tad sharper when plodding about, and it is still easy to manoeuvre around town though. Now, although it did say the steering lacks feel, the variable gear ratio actually means that you need to turn the steering wheel less when cornering on a twisty road, like the new NSX. And this basically means that it's just easier to drive like a Maverick, which sort of makes up for the lack of feel, kind of. The engines are probably the biggest new addition though, with a new 1 litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol, a new 1.5 litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol, and a 1.6 litre diesel. The diesel will join the range at a later date. The one that's expected to be the best seller though is this 127 brake horsepower 1 litre turbo petrol. And thankfully it's got plenty of punch and it doesn't require to be worked quite as hard as the existing 1.4 litre. I mean, okay, you're probably going to have to cane it within an inch of its life to get the most out of it, but still there's plenty of low down torque. Now, you do get quite a bit of roar from this engine, especially when you rev it out in 2nd or 3rd gear, and this is quite common with 3-cylinder turbo units, but rivals with similar units just manage to thwart engine roar a bit better. This 1 litre is mated to a slick, very Honda 6-speed manual gearbox as well, plus quoted CO2 of 117 grams per kilometre and efficiency of around 50 miles per gallon. Doesn't sound too bad to me. So what about the interior? Well, first off, the dashboard isn't as garishly split into 2 shelf-like sections as the old model, but it does still have distinctive layers to it, which actually looks quite cool. You also get this familiar Honda Connect touchscreen system, which, like in the old model, it does still come across a bit outdated, but functionality-wise, I can't complain. And it also comes with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which nowadays is a must for any new car. Aside to the touchscreen though, I love these little animations behind the steering wheel. I mean, it's great, it's got everything you need and you don't have to take your eyes off the road. And I've actually found myself using this screen more than the infotainment screen. And build quality in here is notably better than the last model, as everything feels solid and well screwed together. And kit is impressive as every model gets the likes of Bluetooth, climate control, LED daytime running lights, 16-inch alloys, and active cruise control. Now, if you go for this mid-range SR trim that we've got, which is expected to rake in the most sales, you get the Honda Connect system, you get a rear parking camera, you get dual zone climate control, and you get some leather trimmings thrown in as well. But the Civic doesn't skimp on safety kit either. I mean, there's some really sophisticated tech on board, the likes of blind spot monitoring and lane keep assist. The cabin's quite practical as well. You get loads of little storage compartments dotted around, and you get this really cool sliding cup holder. And seating position wise, you actually sit slightly lower than the last model. However, the quality of these seats isn't up so much. Oh, could have sworn they opened wider on the old model. Never mind. Now, usually with a sleeker shape comes hindered practicality, and unfortunately that is the case with the Civic. As you can see, headroom, well, it's not great. Legroom, on the other hand, is about standard for the hatchback segments. Got plenty of wiggle room. But the big deal with the old Civic was that these seats were cinema style folding and, well, as Honda calls them, magic seats. Now, they've got rid of them.
What? What do you mean?
Well, they've basically moved the fuel tank from under the front seat to the rear seats. So now you sit lower in the front, but you basically not got magic seats in the back.
That was like one of the best bits of the last one.
Yeah, it's... Coming around to the boot, and the Civic is still that flexible contortionist we've come to love, with a wider opening for easier access and up to 478 litres of boot space. And this comes together with underfloor storage and the best parcel shelf I think I've ever seen. I mean, look at that. I mean, you can clip it like that if you want to separate your cargo, or you can unclip it here if you want to load in any larger objects, or if you really wanted to, you could just unclip it and take it with you if you're, you know, a bit weird or trying to make a point like I am. But aside to that, yes, there are a few little niggles, like this high loading lip here, and you do get a hump in the floor here when you fold the seats down and you try and load larger objects in. But to be completely honest, these are just overshadowed by the sheer practicality of it. So the new Civic looks different, it drives different, and well, it feels different, which in our opinion is great. And for a car that's sold in over 170 different countries, I think Honda have done a pretty good job on the packaging front. And for those in the UK, entry-level prices start from £18,335, which, okay, that is more than a Golf, but you do get a lot of kit thrown in, and you also get those standout looks. Yes, those gnarly looks may put some people off, but some of the best cars are like that, so good on you, Honda, for just having the balls to go for it. Can't wait for the new Type R. Click on the inquire button to find out more details about this car, or for any other models, visit carkeys.co.uk. And to watch more reviews, click one of the links on screen now.